Hello, welcome back to Let's Cross Swords. We're doing something a little bit different today that we've never done on the channel. We're gonna have a go at a puzzle from the Magpie magazine. So this is a magazine that they do themed crosswords every month, and it was actually created by the guys that are behind the CrackingTheCryptic YouTube channel, so you may have heard of them. And I thought this one would be fun to do because it was actually set by, we can see on the screen, Mr. Magoo, who happens to be Mark from CrackingTheCryptic. He is renowned as, one of the best crossword solvers there is. Probably the best, if we're being honest. We're going to find out how he stacks up as a crossword setter. Yeah, so without further ado, really, let's have a look at this puzzle. So these are a lot like listener crosswords. So you have kind of a preamble with some rules going on beforehand. So this is called One Fell Swoop, by the way. Yeah, just trying to make some associations with what that could be about, but I'm not sure. So let's see what we're told. The first few across clues and the first few down clues must have their defined answers entered with one letter missing. Okay, a few. So we're not told how many, just a few of each. Fine. So, okay, fine. So we just have to remove a letter from their answer. So we won't know at first how to enter them in the grid. So we won't know which letter is removed. These letters in clue order show something that remains. Fine. Wordplay and lengths in brackets give the entries, mostly not real words. Okay, the wordplay gives the entry, not the answer. So normally the wordplay, would produce the answer, but the entry, which is the answer with a letter removed, is actually what the wordplay is producing, which means I was wrong. As long as we do understand the wordplay in a clue, we should be able to enter these answers in the grid. Yeah. Okay. A local place name further down the initially completed grid must be adjusted, including removing its first letter to show its alternative name. 8 further letters must be removed from the grid to depict a crime, this time leaving behind real words, phrases, or proper nouns. Okay, so that's the end game. We'll think about that later. So yeah, I think we'll get straight into it. Right, one across. Most like remains of nap, cut short. Okay. Cut short is probably part of the wordplay, so shortening some other word. So most like as a definition, not sure. Most like remains. So if it's most something, it's probably something est. And a nap could be a rest, but not a nap cut short. So I'm not sure how that would work. If it's most like remains, what are remains? Like bodies, spares, ashes, could be a thing, ashiest. If it's ashiest, how could the wordplay work with one of those letters removed? Oh, you know what? A siesta is a nap. So if the H is removed from ashiest, but that's not siesta cut short. That's siesta cycled with the A to the beginning. So how's that working? This feels right. Like it's that siesta thing feels too convenient, but how does this actually work? So it ends with siesta, so that's siesta cut short. Okay, so this of, can that be an A? I think it can. I'll just verify it in Chambers. Just bring that up there. So I think I've seen this before. The A, if I find the right version of it, I think this A, yeah, could be from or of. So that's sort of I think it's kind of a medieval type thing to see. Like Thomas Ab Becket, you see. Yeah, so a meaning of or from. So that works. I'm happy with that. So the H was extra, so we'll keep track of those. I might do that in a different colour in a second, actually, just to make it easier to see. And we're saying this is ashiest, but no H. Okay, let's write an H there. And this is going to be spelling what? Something that remains, fine. Okay, can we do these down clues then that we've got the first letters from? Line crossed by lover who is unethical. Okay, I mean, line is very often L. Lover, like a Romeo or bow and amour. Okay, we've got an A, so what if it's amour? I think that's a lover. So, so like Almore, Amlor. I don't know what the rest of this would be. Unethical. Hold on. That amour thing feels right because that can relate to like amoral. Then what's the actual definition? Or is it who is unethical? So if that's okay, yeah, okay. So I think an amoralist would be unethical. So then the L is inside amorist. Yeah, okay, an amorist. I think that's someone like that could be a lover. I'm not sure exactly what it means. I know it's in Chambers. I've seen that word. Might be a sort of, I don't know, Lothario type. So if it's amorist, then the A, I couldn't figure it out. The A from amoralist, the second A, has been removed. So I think that works. Sorry, it's L. Confusing myself about which letter I was removing. Alright, it's a good start. So that was an A. Alright, let's just try the second one then. Maybe have a row or row before A, farewell. Begins with S. Farewell could be so long. So maybe before A. So long is coming before A, like so longa. And then with one more letter would give us maybe have a row. I can't think of any word that is so long A with another letter. Maybe not that. Maybe having a row, like a spat is a row. Could also be row, like a tier or a level or a file. Before A. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. Let's have a go at 3 down then. Argument, ticket, tout, defend. Beginning with E. This could be a hidden word, which beginning with E would be ETTO. Yes, set 2. Set 2 is an argument, so yeah, ETTO, and that's just a hidden word. So ticket out is defending, it's containing that ETTO, and the S from set 2 was missing. We'll just try 4 down while we're here. Did peer in Stratford like a cliche beginning with T? Oof. Like a cliche is like it's like hackneyed. Stratford. Stratford in Hackney? Can't be far from it. It won't be about. It won't be that Stratford. It will be Stratford upon Avon. I think this is suggesting something to do with Shakespeare, right? So yeah, so maybe a Shakespearean spelling of something meaning peer, or like a cliche, but for Shakespeare. Uh, like a cliche is it trite? Uh, mm, yeah, okay, I don't know. We'll come back to that. 8 across, let's do. We've got an M and a T in there. Drink by the middle of the pitch. Drink by the middle of the pitch. So it could be a drink. Not sure. Think of like mate. Don't know. I mean, the middle of the feels like an H, right? So could be a drink and then an H. Although, so then that would mean pitch. Pitch can mean so many things. It can mean like a football pitch or a cricket pitch. It can mean to like pitch a baseball, so to throw. It can be to kind of tilt. You have like pitch and roll and yaw and things. Pitch a tent. There's so many things. Like mouth. That doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm thinking this might end with an H, but I can't see what it is right now. Let's try 11. Party people about to tuck into seafood. Party people about, so maybe something. So about could be something reversed and put into seafood, but I guess to tuck into could just be like eat or something. Is this seafood? Lobster is looking possible if the L is extra. Or oyster. Then is that producing a party then? So something meaning people, maybe going backwards inside oyster or lobster. I can't think of a party that would look like this. No, I have to come back to that as well. 12. African native bird with twisted tail. Okay, so I reckon the definition here is African native. Now that could be talking about people, but this is a device sometimes used just refer to an animal, usually an animal, maybe a plant that is native to Africa or wherever is indicated. I think bird is misleading. It's not going to be a bird because I think bird with twisted tail sounds like part of the wordplay. So, beginning with R, I'm thinking rook, and that ending with O. So my feeling on this is that it might be rook with the last 2 letters switched. Feels quite natural. So that'd be Roko. It's not. Oh, but. But. Sorry, there's the extra letter thing. So even if that's right, the actual thing, African thing, will have another letter. I haven't heard of it that I can think of. Okay, so I'm not sure what the answer is, but I think there's a good chance the entry is Roko, based on the wordplay. So I'm just going to mark that in there for future reference. We're just small. 14 is very long. Come back to that later. Let's try and get some letters. So 16, aviator removes jacket for woman. I mean, removes jacket suggests like like removing the first and last letters. And I was just thinking about aviator because it has this I. So like, is it actually the word aviator with the first and last letter removed? Because then, but the V would have to be extra in the sense of missing from the wordplay. That leaves IATO. I don't know how. No, sorry, I'm mixing that up, right? You don't remove a letter from the wordplay, you remove a letter from the answer. So it would need to be maybe a woman's name and a letter removed. Okay, so what could an airman be? It could be like a pilot. I would just leave ILO though. Yeah, don't know what to do with that. Flyer, not really. Have airman being, yeah, okay, so airman would give Irma with the first and last letter removed. But there's no, that just is a woman's name, right? So maybe this means we're past the point where we need to be removing a letter from the answer. Okay, that's helpful to know. Right. 18, boozer might make this golden beer and lemonade. Beginning with S. Well, beer and lemonade is shandy, right? So that doesn't fit. Boozer is like a pub or something like that. So wait, but if it is shandy and it needs a letter removed, then that means we're not past the removing letters bit because it says the first few are cross clues. I'm a bit confused by that. I also can't see how the wordplay would give us sandy. Yeah, okay, I'm not clear on that at all. I mean, it could be removing a different letter from shandy, but there's not enough going on here. Like, I feel like the wordplay will just be something producing one word, which is why I feel like sandy is the only version of shandy that I can think of that makes sense. Come back to that, I think. 2 down, let's do, because we've got this R and probably an O in it. Maybe have a row or row before a farewell. So if there's an A on the end, because something's before A, so if farewell's the definition, row or row, or oh, okay, an or is a, or to or, I guess, is to row. So OARA. Okay, hold on. Yes, so yes, maybe can be say, and we can get sayonara. So I think this is sayonara, and then so if that was maybe a say, so I guess just have a row is to or, so it's as a verb, and then our a, which means that. Which means that an N is missing. Just trying to make sure I do this carefully so I get the right letters that are missing and not missing. Let's just put this K in then, because I've got that O, so it looks right, I think. Okay, so we've got a Y in 11, and that makes me think that the idea about oysters holds some weight. So if it's oyster with something meaning people going backwards inside it, could be. People, 3 letters, like men, so like nem inside it. Maybe. Can't think of how this gives an answer. Okay, what about if it's not people about, but about? 'Cause that has a load of sort of short synonyms. Well, I guess it has a couple of them. It has RE, CA, C. Those can all mean about. Although they're not long enough. Oh, but seafood could be oysters, plural. Then you would only need 2 letters going in. But then in this case it would mean party people, not just party. Yeah, okay, there's an idea. I need to check the spelling on this word, but is this roisterer? Yes. I wasn't sure if you had to spell it with an I. Yeah, you can spell it with a Y. So what's happening here is the R is not in the wordplay, and we have my brush has changed size again. Okay. Don't know why that's happening. It probably is because of the shortcut I'm using to bring up the phone on the screen. No, so we said it was plural. So oysters, and then what was is it this E? Yeah, I think this E was from oysters, and then you have RE meaning about. So you get roisterers with the R removed. Okay, that's quite tricky. But yeah, nice clue. Okay, what is 4 down? Did we look at this already? Did appear in Stratford like a cliche. So, I mean, is it going to be like a Shakespearean word meaning did peer? Why not just peered then? Like a cliche. Oh, a cliche can be tired. So maybe tired, maybe like cliche is the wordplay, and that's missing a letter for something that means did peer in, or like Shakespearean. It's confusing. Let's look at 14. Okay, I need to get something good here. Italian island once threw light on superpower. Italian can be like I think IT. Island can be I, but there are lots of things that island can be. Superpower's weird. Like, you'd think of like superheroes and their powers, but I don't see anything immediately that could be the definition for. I mean, flight is a relatively short one. Okay, can I think of an Italian island then for the definition? Got Sicily, Sardinia, Capri. There is one beginning with LA actually. What is it called? like lamb something. If once is like archaic, so maybe an archaic word for through? Through light? Lamp? Light could be lamp. But we've got once through before that. Lantern? No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, unless through light could be lamped, but like archaic. Lampedusa is what I think it's called, and the USA is a superpower, so it's in a sort of political sense. I think that works. Pretty sure that is the name of the island I'm thinking of. So if I look up lamp, so yeah, so it's a verb archaically to illuminate. So yeah, that does actually work. Okay, I had to change the hotkey that I was using to show the phone because it was changing the size of the brush I'm using. Just doing this in GIMP, and I am liking this software less and less. So we said Lampedusa, and I don't think this has any letters missing. As far as I'm aware, I mean, I could not know the spelling of the island. It looks right. I don't think Italian tends to have a lot of unnecessary letters. None that I can think of that would go in this. So we'll tentatively say this may be beyond where we need to remove letters from. What's 9 down with these 2 E's? This is an end to orthodoxy. Short clue suggests it could be an andlet, that is a 2-in-1. Has that feel to it. End to orthodoxy is why? Heresy fits. Yes, okay, nice. So this is, or this is an, could be here is, here's. So that's the synonym happening there. And then we've got the end to orthodoxy, the y, and altogether a heresy is a end to orthodoxy. It's a deviation from orthodoxy. Drink by the middle of so yeah, okay. So an 8 across, we said there was likely to be an H at the end with the middle of the. So if this is a drink at the start, malt is a drink. Then you get mouth, and you need a word meaning pitch. Does that with an extra letter? Yeah, I don't know. This might not be a word I know. Well, look, when we figure out what the kind of message is here, then we should know what letter's been removed, and then we can kind of backwards engineer that one, because I don't see another way we're really getting that. It's going to be the same for 12 across, it looks like. What's 15 down? Oops, PA. Old, slow horse turning and blocking passage. An old horse is a nag. So maybe that's happening backwards. Don't know what the P comes from. Like, obviously, passage. That's too long to actually be directly in there. Passage is like an alley or an aisle or something. Yeah, I don't know. Just trying to stare at it for a bit. Okay, let's just get a shorter one. 7. Okay. Feature of housing estate pattern. Okay, that sounds like a hidden word. So with an SA, this, yeah, okay, this could be gestat. And then I don't think that is a word in itself. I can check. No. So if it's gestat, what letter would we need to add to get pattern? I don't know, is gestate? Can that mean pattern? The wordplay seems just too, it seems to work too well to not really be that. Gestate, age stat. Okay, what about Gestalt? What is the actual definition of that? There we go, that's pattern. I knew Gestalt was to do with sort of something holistic, like the overall structure of something. So, okay, I guess pattern is the definition we've got. So, an L from that. I'm trying to see if I can think of words that I can pick out forming from these extra letters. That, yeah, I don't know. Actually, we are thinking this L then is the last letter that's extra, because we didn't seem to have one in 9. Okay. Might look at 5. One of my parents travelled far. New locum gives me lodging. New can be N, but it could be we've got an anagram of locum. And then me could just be the word me, because you could have an anagram of locum with me inside it. So, so then I guess you'd need a vowel at the beginning if that's ME there. So that would have to be the O. I don't know. I don't know if this is making a word. I can't think of an anagram that does anything useful. Obviously, again, there's this missing letter thing. One of my parents travelled far? What does that even mean? Is it like literally the child of someone who's famous for having travelled far? Okay, I'm not sure. 4 down. Right, so we looked at that. If like a cliche, that could be tired. So I'm just gonna like mark that in. So I didn't mean to bring the dictionary up. So ten beginning with I potentially, and potentially having an M second if this is a me here. I need a radical. I mean, myself again could be me. And you've got an I. These are both could be I's, independent and one. One can also be A, as in the indefinite article. So it could be. So if me, so it could be independent, then an I or an A accepted by me, and then I need a radical. Radicals, I was thinking at first like kanji or something, like some sort of like Chinese or Japanese scripts that use radicals as part of the notation. I mean, you also have them in like maths, like it's the notation for like square roots and things. It's also a chemistry thing. You have certain like groups, like molecule subgroup things that are radicals. And actually, these letters do feel quite chemical, don't they? So if it's M IE or AE? No, probably IE. You could have something like an I mean. Isn't I mean a thing? It is a thing. Highly reactive nitrogen containing organic substance. Doesn't say anything about radicals though. So what about like if that was an A instead? Surely an I mean is not a thing. Nah, made that up. That felt promising. I might just look at a completely different part of the grid because I'm just getting stuck. So 19, let's see, remarkable person without equal getting left out. Could that just mean an L is being removed from something? So what's like without equal, like peerless, singular. We want 5 letters with an L. Alone works because we get A1, and that can mean a remarkable person or thing, I think. So finally getting back on the board. I haven't looked at 6, have I? Aged Australians flashily performing my tune. Is flashily a anagram indicator? Or performing could be as well, but the letters aren't right with anything we've got there, I don't think. A tune could be a song at the end. If that's okay, again, I can't figure that out right off the bat. Let's see. What's 20? 20 across, something right in the middle of the grid. We've got dynasty keeps including camp. So could this be like a particular royal dynasty or So okay, so keeps could mean something goes inside, but including could also mean something goes inside. I can't think of it. What's a short word for camp though? Not really like tent. It's not really the same thing. Including can be ink. I've seen, I think. Ooh. Yeah, okay. That just came to me because I wanted a 4-letter dynasty, so I went to China. Because if we have ink in there, which it is, we can actually take the Ming dynasty and put ink in. You get mincing, which I have seen before, meaning camp. So that didn't. Oh, you know what? Why did I write an L here? This L was removed by the wordplay. I was just thinking we're past the point where we need to remove letters. No, there was not an L to be removed there. Right. So 15, I want to look at again. Old slow horse, turning and blocking passage. Okay, I mean, could be some kind of nag, maybe. Or maybe it's an archaic word because it's old. Turning and blocking. passage. What is the passage here? Or is the passage backwards? Could be a gap. Pag something. Or what? Could you have and turning? So that becomes what, DNA? Padna. Okay, I want to look at Padnag, because that rings about. That is a word. It is, yeah, an ambling nag. So an old, yeah, so slow horse. Again, yeah, it's archaic. So it's an old word for a slow horse. How does this work? Sorry, so it's we're reversing and, I think was what I said, and my brush has changed size again, and what's happening? So is it gap? Oh, so it's everything backwards. You've got turning and blocking gap. Right, okay. That was, yeah, I struggled to think that through. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That is really difficult, actually. So far, this has seemed a lot harder than a B grade to me. I think these clues have been really tricky. I don't know, maybe you disagree. Let's look at 20 down, beginning with M. Almost ruin a piece of underwear in the long run. Okay, seems like removing a letter from something is what almost usually means. I don't know, piece of underwear. I mean, short ones, you like bra or something like that. In the long run, like eventually, finally. Beginning with M. Ooh. Yes, okay, the long one could be a marathon. And I'm thinking mar means ruin. So almost ruin a piece of underwear. Marathon, but almost. So remove the last letter of that. Marathon. Okay, that's a pretty fun clue. Right, nice. 22. Earth notes from gravel walk. I don't know what's a gravel walk. That seems like quite an obscure definition. Earth can be E. Notes could be like la la somehow. Doesn't really make sense. And then what's Earth doing? Can Earth be the definition? So like maybe a kind of like mud. I mean, lava is not Earth. Gaia would be a meaning of Earth. I can see the letters of Gaia in gravel walk. Okay, that's very clever. The notes in this case refers to the musical notes, which run from A to G. And if you take all the letters from A to G from gravel walk, you get exactly Gaia. I like that, it's quite clever. What do I want to look at? 17. Type of Ford driver wanting miles for continuous improvement. This could be like a type of bridge or river crossing, potentially, for Ford. Continuous improvement. Don't really know what that would mean. Yeah. Not sure. Not sure. Okay, let's just keep going. 24. Bread that didn't rise featuring in hazy memory. That again sounds like a hidden word clue. So for 5 letters, azyme is the only thing that kind of sounds like a word that could be hidden in there. There we go. Azyme, the noun, is unleavened bread, so that works. Nice. Okay, that one was a relatively easy one. Okay, 17. we just looked at was this type of fraud thing. It's got a Z in it. Yeah, I'm not sure.